I am Manolia. Today I want to talk to you consonants and vowels. The spoken versus the written form of language. In order to understand the sound systems of a language, the differences between speech and written must be known. However, we often assume that writing and speaking are the same. One of the main differences is that there was speech before writing was invented. Every community has a spoken language, but there are also communities that do not have a written language. English spelling. If we compare English sounds with the symbol used in writing, we encounter the following inconsistencies. One sound can be represented by a variety of graphemes. For example, meat and meat. When we examine two words, they both sound the same in spoken language, but in written language, the same sound is expressed with different letters. One grapheme can represent a variety of sounds: damage, educate, picked. When we examine these words, we see the pronunciation of the same letters in three different sounds. One or more graphemes may represent no sound at all: knee, lamb, receipt. Although the letters mentioned in this verse are present in the written language, they are pronounced as if they were not present when pronounced. Two or more graphemes may represent a single sound: eat, chain. In these examples, the letters E and A combine to symbolize the sound E. A grapheme may simply indicate the quality of a neck-boring sound: dinner, dinner, or dine, din. A single grapheme may represent two or more sounds: box. Some sounds have no graphic representation as with the initial sound: universe and one. Of speech and writing. There are some features that exist in spoken language but not in written language. Emphasis. In spoken language, emphasis is often conveyed through the syllable stress. When a particular word or syllable is emphasized, it's pronounced with a higher pitch. For example, I want that one, not this one. It's emphasized that he wants the first one, not the second. Intonation determines the type of sentence. He said he would help, and he said he would help. Homographs defines words that are the same in written language but different in spoken language. While hot dog is a type of sausage, hot dog means overheated dog. Paralanguage. Paralanguage refers to the nonverbal elements of spoken communication. Variations in pronunciation resulting from dialect and or idiolect. Kinesics indicated by body movement, facial expression, and gestures. Performance, errors, slips, or hesitations. On the other hand, there are aspects of language which written expresses but speech cannot. Historical changes. Older pronunciation preserved in the spelling, such as camp, net. Words indicated by spaces, for example, syntax or syntax, should be left out while pronunciation or change in meaning. Words which are pronounced the same but spelled differently, such as beer, beer, meat, meat. Related words or affix which sound different. Example, photograph, photography, or the past tense affix ed in rate, walked, wrapped. Although the words photograph and photography are similar, their pronunciation are different. The ed suffix is not pronounced the same in every word. Dialectical differences and permanency, for example, keeping of historical annals, the recording of laws. The production of speech sounds. These are the stages of sound formation: air, trachea, larynx, pharynx, and vocal tract. The word aggressive alludes to the fact that sound is made when air leaves the lungs rather than enters them. The term pulmonic describes the utilization of the lungs as a source of power. Air is expelled from the lungs. The air travels up the bronchial tubes to the trachea and then through the larynx. Larynx is the primary organ of voice production. A valve located in the larynx prevents the trachea from opening when you are eating. The vocal cords are a type of valve that have been modified for speech. The vocal cords are two muscles. After breathing normally, the vocal cords are comparatively open. Nevertheless, after eating, they are closed. The space between the cords when they are open is known as the glottis. Men's vocal cords are longer than women's. This is the reason of different vocal qualities of men and women. Air continues past the larynx into the pharynx. The air then moves into the vocal tract. Vocal tracts consist of oral and nasal cavities. The oral cavity, that is the mouth, is a generator of speech sounds via the articulators. Articulators may be active or passive. Active articulators. Tongue consists of three parts: front, back, and root. The lower lip. The lip may be placed against the upper teeth or together with the upper lip, may be closed or opened, rounded or spread. The passive articulators. The teeth, both upper and lower. The roof of the mouth divide into four parts. These are alveolar ridge, palate, velum, uvula, and pharynx. Feature of velum is that it's movable. It's raised against the back of the pharynx, then air passes out only through the oral cavity. The result is known as an oral sound. If the velum is lowered, then air can pass out through the other cavity. The nasal cavity, if air passes out of the nose excessively, a nasal sound is produced, but if air passes off both the nose and the mouth, a nasalized sound is produced. When the cords are widely separated and fairly, no noise is produced. That's known as the open glottis and produces a voiceless sound. However, the vocal cords may also be set in vibration, and this produces a voice sound. When the vocal cords, the state of the glottis in vibration or open, when the air passes through open vocal folds, a voiceless sound occurs. When the air passes through vibration vocal folds, voiced sounds occur. If you want to know differences, put your hand Adam's apple and says s and z. The state of the velum, lowered or raised. The place of articulation. The place of articulation refers to where the articulators, tongue, teeth, lips, or glottis make contact in the vocal tract to create consonant sounds. Bilabial, pursued with both lips. b, p, m. Labiodental, produced with upper teeth and lower lips come together. F, v. Dental, the tip of the tongue you produce between the teeth or touches the back of the upper teeth. Alveolar, the tip of the tongue you makes contact with or is in close approximation to the alveolar ridge. The alveopalatal, in front of the tongue is raised to an area between the alveolar ridge and the plate. Sh. Palatal, the front of the tongue is brought up against the palate. U. Velar, the back of the tongue is brought into contact with the velum. Ular, the back of the tongue touches the ula. Glottal, the vocal cords functioning as articulators make a brief closure. Manner of articulation refers to the way in which articulators release the airflow to create a consonant sound. Stop consonants occur when the vocal tract is closed completely, p sound. And nasal consonants are created when you completely block airflow through your mouth and let the air pass through your nose, sound. Fractive sounds are produced when the tongue approaches but don't make contact with a place of articulation, sound. Affricate results from the sequence of stop plus fractive in rapid suggestion, ch sound. A trill result when an articulator is held loosely fairly close to another articulator so that it's set into vibration by the airstream. Tap means rapid flick of the tongue to some place of articulation. Approximant, one articulator approaches another, but generally not to the extent that a turbulent airstream is pursued. There is usually open approximation in the three different types of approximants. First one, lateral, involving complete closure of the central portion of the vocal tract. With the lateral passage of air, the air may pass around the sides with no structure. Retroflex, involving the underside of the tongue curling back behind the alveolar ridge towards the plate. Glide, a glide to or from a vowel. This sound is spoken as a vowel without a structure, yet it serves as a consonant to start or finish syllables. English, voiced bilevel stop and voiceless bilevel stop. These sounds are made by bringing the lips together. Alveolar, voiced alveolar and voiceless alveolar stop. These sounds are produced by touching the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge behind the upper front teeth. Velar, voiced velar stop and voiceless velar stop. These sounds are created by bringing the back of the tongue against the soft palate. The nasal series of English, bilevel nasal. This sound is made by bringing your lips together and letting air flow out through your nose. Examples include words like med, omen, and room. Alveolar nasals. It's produced with the tongue in the same position as when making the sound. You can find this sound in words like nose, onerous, and long. Velar nasal. To make this sound, you position your tongue as if you were saying and allow air to pass through your nose. Example include singer, ring, and voiced and voiceless fricatives. Voiced labiodental fricative, the lower lip is placed against the upper teeth to create the labiodental fricatives v and f sound. The voiced dental fricative and the voiceless dental fricative are formed by placing the tip of the tongue near the inner surface of the upper teeth. Voiced alveolar fricative and voiceless alveolar fricative are formed by raising the tip of the tongue towards the alveolar ridge. Voiced alveopalatal fricative found in verse-like equation. Voiceless alveopalatal fricative seen in verse-like short, martial, rush. Since English approximants typically have voices, mentioning this feature in their description is not. Say the and then who. To feel what the tongue does when making this sound, you should feel the size of your tongue, the skin, allowing air to pass around the sides. The location of the articulation of the letter or the area in the middle of the mouth where the airway is closed varies quite a little from a alveolar to the flatal region. The glide is the second class of approximant. In English, there are two glides that exclusively appear at the start of syllables. The tongue is raised in the palatal region to generate it. The velar region of your tongue is lifted when you make this sound, and you also have substantial labialization or lip rounding. Due to this, is occasionally referred to as labiovelar rather than velar. The retroflex is the third type of approximate. There is not a fully sufficient explanation for the English retroflex, which makes its description somewhat challenging. It's perhaps appropriate to refer to it as an alveolar retroflex because there is some labialization and a slight curling back of the tongue. Are sounds produced with an unobstructed airflow, meaning there is no constriction in the vocal tract. They are created with open articulation. While forming vowels, there is no central closure of the air passage, although the tongue might have contact with any teeth or on the sides. In acoustic terms, vowels are characterized by variation in pitch, which is influenced by the quality of the sound wave. The pitch of vowels can be altered by adjusting the shape of the resonating chamber, which includes the oral and, in some cases, nasal tracts. This modification is achieved by changing the position and shape of the tongue and lips and by raising or lowering the volume. From a functional perspective, vowel serves as the nucleus or essential component of a syllable. A monotone is a solitary or simple vowel sound that forms the core of a syllable. During the pronunciation of a monotone, the tongue typically maintains a relatively fixed position and the sound has a relatively steady acoustic characteristic including pitch. On the other hand, diphthong is created when the tongue glides from one vowel position to another within a single syllable, generating a continuous sound rather than a sequence of separate sound. In the case of diphthong, there is a shift in the tongue's position, and it might also entail a modification in lips. When articulating diphthongs, we can utilize vowel positions that are not employed in producing monotongues. Diphthongs have a wide range of possible starting and ending points. Unlike monotongues, diphthongs involve the movement of the tongue, which means their articulation is not sustained. This doesn't necessarily make diphthongs longer or require more time to pronounce than monotongues, although diphthongs are often mistakenly referred to as long vowels in additional settings. There are two types of diphthongs, a falling diphthong beginning with a vowel portion and is followed by a glide portion. The term falling relates to the decrease in resonance, with the glide being acoustically less prominent than the vowel. This description has nothing to do with tongue position, which usually rise. Conversely, a rising diphthong starts with a glide portion and it's followed by a vowel portion, leading to an increase in resonance. Front vowels. The tongue position for this vowel is towards the front of mouth. Need, beat, team, tin, sit, rich, went, breathe, friend, care, dare, bear, cat, hand, fun. Central vowels, the tongue is quite flat, filling the middle of the mouth. Few, boot, lose, alive, the, today, third, turn, verse, fun, love, money, glass, half, car. Back vowels. All these back vowel sounds are made with rounded lips and the tongue is pulling back. Put, look, should, talk, low, port, rub, tap, and watch. The function of vowels and consonants. Speech sounds can be analyzed from two perspectives, their physical characteristics and their roles in language. We have discussed physical attributes of vowels and consonants, where vowels are produced with unrestricted airflow, while consonants generally involve some degree of airflow restriction. To truly comprehend the differences between these two sound categories, we should also consider their linguistic functions. Vowels primarily serve as syllable function, meaning they are the essential core of a syllable. A syllable can consist of just one vowel, such as the personal pronoun "u". Vowels tend to be more audible, longer in duration, more resonant, and acoustically prominent when compared to consonants. Conversely, consonants generally have a non-syllable function, while they can innate or conclude syllables. They are not mandatory and can be optional. Consonants are usually shorter in duration and less acoustically prominent. However, it's important to note that the distinction between consonants and vowel isn't always absolute. Some sounds, like glides, are articulated like vowels but function as consonants. Additionally, certain consonants can have a syllable function, meaning they can stand alone within a syllable without the presence of another vowel. This is the case with liquids and nasals. The syllable function of consonants is indicated by a subscript bar. In the example provided, units geç buraya